Yeah, this is Point Black, coming in hard and off the card. I'm coming with that flow, straight from the barrio, and coming with that heat from the damn street. I'm coming with the facts, the crack backs, and the boom bip to that lion ass lips. Because this is what we must do, whether we right or whether we wrong. The overstanding must be there for our people, because this is PBNN, Point Black, National News, the late and the great edition, and the ghetto edition as well. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, this is what we must do. Now today, we're going to talk a little bit before we go in about the aspect of life. And when we look at life today, from the time when I was a young man growing up, the same problems were there. So for the old people to say how great it was and how their time was is one thing. But there is no way for you to show that you did not have the blows of life as well. Many of us seek paths that leads to nowhere. Many of us have seeking path that has possibly even almost taken our lives. Many of us have made it to where we are today because we was able to survive through the turmoil, the different things in our neighborhood that cause us to go down these different paths, or even where we grow up at. You know, many people are born in a ghetto, what we will call a ghetto, you know what I'm saying, which is an English word from England. And many are born probably even in a somewhat decent middle class neighborhood. But many of them end up in the same predicament as well. We have a life that was given to us. We were able to survive and make it through. We must now learn to unify our understanding as black people, especially because much of the historical vows that we have in our head is incorrect in many ways. Not those of the conscious community like the General Seti, Pharaoh, and many of the brothers who have the knowledge, the wisdom, and the understanding to bring those receipts and bring it to the table. Trust me, we're not going to be the first nor the last, nor is you. You know what I'm saying? You have people like Anti-Sheikh Diak, you know, Dr. Ben, you know, we had a lot of great dudes that stayed in the pocket and did what they had to do. Many of them did not die a rich man. And at a certain point in their lives, I don't think they ever really cared. You know why? Because their riches stretched beyond the silver and gold that was stolen from our land, from our people. They come to realize that the richness of our people is so vast and so great to the point that even what we see or who's in control still does not speak for the glory and the achievement and the greatness of our people. Even today, their science is being used. You know what I'm saying? Even the great Hannibal. You know what I'm saying? Many of Hannibal's military tactics also are still used today, even though technology and many other things have come forward. And we understand. I mean, this is going to happen. It's the same thing like if I have a cell phone. Now, when cell phones first came out, it was a straight phone, a little flip phone, a little stupid ass thing, compared to what we're holding and doing podcasts and so forth on right now. So when a child is born and basically he gets a hold of a phone that we have today, He might see the flip phone. He might, see it here and there. You know what I mean, or whatever, or he want to go in the store. But to look at if he was born when there was no iPhone or this and that the regular public had, other than these bleep phones and regular phones, he would have thought that was everything. You see what I'm saying? But as time go on, even the scientific world that they hide from us, they're going to advance on many of the things in which was once what we saw it was. A little flip phone, and now everybody, when you look around, everybody that knew about flip phones, knew about this phone, knew about when it started, knew about how the advancement, da 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 da. You know what I'm saying? Long story short, now sees it in a whole different light now. That's the advancement of science. That's the advancement of man. You know what I'm saying? Now, if these things are used for good, for the betterment of man, then it's all good. But when the science is used for the destruction of man, then that is the world's problem that the world must stand up against. Same as we see in our political arena. You know what I'm saying? Even when it comes to your younger brothers and sisters, it's important that you, as well as I, men, fathers, mothers, goddesses, to teach every aspect. Every aspect. The reason why I say this is because if you don't teach every aspect and know your approach even on the science of that aspect, you know what I'm saying, there will be confusion because everybody's going to want to baby that child or keep that child protected. That we understand. By all means. This is why we're against what Netanyahu is doing in the Gaza Strip. You know what I'm saying? And all across Africa, as a whole. You know what I'm saying? Many children throughout time has suffered great losses on this planet by the hands, of this chair, by the hands of older people. Not, you know what I'm saying? And some young and so forth on and so forth on. You know the drill. But many of it came from older people. So one thing that pisses me off is when older people try to act as if like what the young is doing or got on the point the young has gotten to was a point of their own device. That's impossible. Like the general said, General Saros said, we proceed our children. We came before our children. You see what I'm saying? So we come after our children. We came after our parents, and now our children is here with us. But they came still to the womb, to the portal of the goddess, and now they're here. So to protect them 100% is definitely what it is. But there comes a time where the age level starts to change. And like I like to say, you know what I'm saying, one of my greatest sayings that a lot of my kids, you know, say don't really like, you know, say it is every age brings a stage. You know what I'm saying? So you were once a child playing with toys and taught that every toy that you saw when you walk in a toy store was like glory toyland. You know what I'm saying? But then as you get older and you begin to see toys in a whole different light. And what was once fascinating to you is no longer that. You see? So now your mind has moved on to another stage. And you're becoming a young man and a young woman. And this mostly goes out to the black community, the poor whites, the Latino brothers and sisters that came over, mixed culture, race in their blood, you know what I'm saying? And many things we see went on, and still probably going on in South America. We understand that everybody wants to be the man, everybody wants to be rich, everybody wants the power, you know what I'm saying? But we must understand that when it comes to the young, they must learn everything we possibly could teach them. And it's important that they understand even the sociability of social life. You know what I'm saying? And the protection of their life within that sociability of social life and socializing in the community and the world and the different areas within their geographic in the world as a whole on a global effect. Because when we shortchange them or we don't teach them these certain things and know how to really put it together, which is very important, and I want you to work on that, people, especially Black people and their children, it's important to do your job. To just leave it up to everyone else, it would be like leaving your child for the wolves. This goes out to Chicago, Detroit, the United States Virgin Islands, where I grew up. You know what I'm saying? Ross Valley is no longer there, but the valley is still there, but it's the normal homes, like the houses, like my mother ranches, the other side they're very close together, but one was called Anna's Retreat, the other was called Hidden Valley. So we lived in Hidden Valley, really, but Anna's Retreat was in Hidden Valley. On the other side, if I walk out my house and walk down just a few yards or more, you know what I'm saying, the projects is right there. So it's like if I look out my window, I could see the projects all around me. That's how close it was built. And Ross Valley produced not much when it comes to the understanding of many things. Rastafari came in, Yoga Man, they used to call him Yoga Man and so on. And in that bands, they used to call him Dreads, look at Dread. And we didn't like that either because the word dread means to fear. So in more ways than one, is one to fear, but one to be realistic about. You see what I'm saying? Even though Bob Marley and many of the singers that we know, Peter Tosh, Buddy Wheeler, you know what I'm saying, they grew up in roughness in Jamaica. You know what I'm saying? But they found their way. It doesn't matter how they really got there. We could go over all of that and show many things that they probably did themselves. But they came forward and they brought a political message. And the message spread throughout the planet Earth. And I don't think that they ever believed that that would happen when they first started off. It could have been just about them making good music for the world to hear. But didn't always know that their records would go global and international and have such a profound effect on many people's lives. But in the end, and even in throughout it, not even the end, but even throughout their path, that Black Power movement that they pushed forward of the realisticness of the blackness and the power of our people, it was shown in the music. What we would call heartical music. I don't think that Bob Marley too cared for the reggae style music they sing today or chant rap and all that they so, because many times now they want to take it to a psychological level of violence and all kind of vulgarity we see now. But as the child is growing and he sees many things throughout the world, you know what I'm saying? If you leave it solely up to the world, there is a likely chance that he can get hurt, things can go wrong, and he can have a suffering life, on and on and on and on. You know the story. You know what I'm saying? Bro, poor, gotta work, yada, 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 yada. We know the story because the rich ain't gonna make sure that we all rich. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter how they got rich. 95% of their riches come from where? The poor. So, in more ways than one, when we teach our kids, we must take time to do this by all means. You know what I'm saying? Many of you fathers have turned your back on your children because of many various reasons, and I'm not here to criticize or judge you. You understand? But if you have a life and you're still pushing on, you have to make amends with your children. You must reach out to them. Of course they're going to be mad at you. Of course they might curse you out. Of course they might even hang up the damn phone. But give it a minute or two and try again. You try and try and try until you have an understanding that you can explain to him what happened, why it went that way, so on and so on. You must make peace with your blood, my brothers and sisters. Once you make this peace and you teach these kids that they see the world, it doesn't matter whether it's going to a club, smoking weed, and drinking liquor. I'm not with the drug shit. I'm not with that at all. You know what I'm saying? We have to eradicate certain things that are taking the lives of our people. Not just by the death of the drug abuse or drugs in itself, destroying their lives, and their whole life is spent running behind these drugs. And, they're lucky if they achieve any goal outside of having to even be on government help and so forth and not be independent of themselves. But at the same time, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to those aspects, you even have to speak to them about that. And even when it comes to drinking and smoking, you know what I'm saying, you have to be in their lives, because if you let the world out there do it, or you let them go into the world and they do this and that, anything can happen. They could switch it on them and give them something that is not even weed, or something that's not even, or something in their drink, or this or that, or this. You know the streets. You know what I'm saying? Let's not be naive here. But if you teach them the aspects and how to look out for this and show them that these things must be looked at even when you're in the flotation of your happiness or your party or your glory. That even though you might think that everybody is cool or everybody has your best interest or they're a friend or they're this or they're that, like I was reading the 45 different people that you have to look out for. But that's not the worst. There are worse people in this world that they don't mind fucking up everyone else or anyone around them because their world has always been shot. Or they see their world with no thing. Same as you have a person who's a pedophilia and he is, I would say, stalking and feeding off the children in his sexual garbage that he do. We have that even in many of the rituals that go on the planet Earth. But I don't think that we who have our children still with us should allow them to be victims of these things. You understand? Even when it comes to my very own children, I teach them every aspect in whichever way I possibly can. Because it ain't my job only to just sit here and say, I'm going to do my job for me and forget about everybody else. You understand? It doesn't matter what the situation is. We must heal the situation and reach out to each other. Because once we get past that, then we start to see a great change amongst the mentality of our goddesses and our kings of planet Earth. Don't leave your children to the lessons of the wolves. Be teaching them every aspect. You know what I'm saying? Some kids probably won't smoke weed, which is all right for me. You know what I'm saying? And some kids probably won't drink liquor, which is all right with me. But at the same time, I wanted to understand that these things can come up. And when we're not around, or there's nobody there but you and your sociability group outside of our neighborhood, family, and friends, you must always watch your back. Trust no one. No one. I'm sorry to say it this way, but it's the truth. Trust no one. Because your trust in people or certain things we see in this world can deceive you. It's as simple as that. You know, I hate to harp on it, but it even goes with what we saw happen with the vaccine and what we saw in the pandemic as well. You see? Because the understanding of many things throughout time, we know full well was orchestrated in order to dummy down the public to certain things. Not everyone, so let's be clear, but many, and a vast many. To the point that when they say this and say that and do this and do that, these people will always go along with it and believe it. Because they're living on a belief system. You must know and not believe. You know what I'm saying? Because wisdom is found in the simplest of places, in the nick of time. The great Buddy O'Reilly realized wisdom is found in the simplest of places, in the nick of time. So when we teach the lessons to our children and we put these different messages or different words in their mentality, it helps them that when time comes, sometimes the reflection of what you said to them maybe 15 years ago will still pop up in their head. In the path that they are traveling. So it's important for us to maintain this understanding over